Oh, welcome to another episode of Vic and Hope. We're playing Sekiro now. There's no
Big
song.
day!
There's no song intro. We're not doing that anymore.
We've moved on past
We've
that.
moved on.
We're
out
on a
of
bigger
songs.
and better, more mature thing.
It's time
to leave childish things behind, Victor.
Yeah, it's time to leave Childish Gambino behind.
It's time to leave childish
peaked.
Gambino behind.
He's just not doing it anymore.
Guava's not that good.
We're playing
I haven't
motherfucking
seen it. I don't
Sekiro.
know.
Guava? What?
Guava Island, excuse me.
Ooh, this looks sharp.
Whoa, so sharp you could
So
fucking slice
pretty.
yourself on it.
And skip the cutscene, nobody cares.
Whoa.
Can I not skip? Is my controller not working?
Uh-oh.
No,
We're
I mean, I
having
just hit new
controller
game, so it's
issues
obviously
right out
working.
the gate.
Can I just not skip the first cutscene?
Unskippable cutscene.
Unskippable cutscenes! That means we're gonna get
greatest
content
crime
claim.
of video games.
So we're playing Sekiro. Last we played Resident Evil 2.
I'm a Jew. Resident Evil 2.
I apologize for, like, the whole time I'm freaking out because the graphics look weird. But then, like, I look back at the video clips and they don't look like what we were seeing.
They don't look half as ass as what we were seeing in real time.
So I think that it's something with my computer, the way it's outputting, because I'm having my laptop output through HDMI into the Elgato, which is going into my other computer. So maybe, and then the display is going out from the Elgato into this TV. So maybe something along that line is making it fucked up. I don't know. All I know is that it kind of looks weird with other stuff. Playing Sekiro now. We'll see if it looks weird with Sekiro. If it does look weird, I'm just gonna get over it because now I know that I can't do anything about it. You know.
There's nothing that can be done.
It's not our fault. It's not the game's fault. We were betrayed. It didn't look as weird as I thought it did. So those episodes probably suck ass.
Sorry.
But,
Because it's 90% us talking about how weird the game looks.
Yeah, so that's obviously E tier content.
Yeah, I guess are you releasing that first before?
Oh yeah,
this?
that'll come out before this. I'm gonna put that out as soon as possible, just because it's relevant. It's time relevant. Kind
TikTok.
of. Because that's the meme right now.
You're on the clock.
But yeah, we did the tier list. That was fun doing the tier list.
I had a good time doing the tier list.
Tier lists are a fun concept. I'm glad it's exploded into a meme.
It is a lot of fun. It's just you get to state your opinion about things.
Yeah. It's kind of like when the Pokemon chart thing was going around, where your favorite ever. We should do a Pokemon tier list of every single Pokemon ever made. I enjoy watching Conrad's.
Conrad kind of already did.
Yeah,
that.
I enjoy his tier list because this is what Conrad has done, regardless of it being a meme forever, which he addresses immediately.
Yeah.
So it's immediately like, yeah, this fits. This fits Conrad completely because this is what he does. He makes lists.
It's as expected.
He's done some decent lists. He did a video game controller list, which was, entertaining. I've pretty much just been skipping to the end of his list to see where he puts stuff.
Nice.
That's what everyone does, right? You just skip to the end to see the good shit.
Yeah, you just want to know where everything gets placed. So you can then argue, yell at the screen because you don't agree with what they've decided.
Exactly, because no one understands that Domino's is the best pizza and is fucking S-class.
Domino's is S tier.
They're
you have to think about both price and how good the food is. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Nowhere else can we get a fucking large pizza for $8 to feed both of us.
A delicious large pizza.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Where else can you get?
What the fuck did I just do?
Uh-oh.
Why did the game crash? I unplugged the controller to try to see if I could make it start to skip the cutscene.
And instead,
you
fucked
knocks
it up.
out of the game. Okay, here we go. Alright, we're back in the game.
Where else can you get a...
Okay, controller's working. Everything's good.
Yeah.
We're Sekiro Bloodborne, man. The graphics do look kind of weird.
Look a little janky.
Which means that you guys probably can't see this. I do have it on the lowest setting, so that might have something to do with it. Just because I just want it to work. I just want this shit to work.
So just don't worry about it. It'll look fine.
After this episode series, I'm not going to do the laptop thing anymore. I'm downloading this on my main computer because the graphics will look worse, but maybe it won't totally eat shit,
Yeah.
Oh god, now I gotta remember how to play Sekiro.
Great. But yeah, where else can you get
we're at the false start open.
Delicious pineapple jalapeno chicken barbecue pizza?
Yeah. I mean, some people don't like barbecue pizza because they're fucking idiots.
They're fucking plebs.
Well, so this part of the game, like, you start off down there,
And
it's
you
but
pop up here.
it's like you don't know where you are yet, and then you come back here later in the game and you know where you are.
Dude,
I remember the sinking feeling I had when I first came out of that hole and I walked over here and was like, oh, let's look at the beautiful vista, and then I see this repeated texture on that wall.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and it just like, it made me feel empty inside for a good, like, the first hour of this game where I was just like, I hope this is good. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you did, a couple months ago, give your initial impression of this game. Has your opinion changed?
It has completely changed. It's totally wrong. I'll ease into that bit, but, I don't remember doing so much here. But, what was I had something to say, and then I got distracted, and now I can't remember anymore.
Your opinion of Sekiro.
My opinion is Sekiro.
Has it changed?
I had something to say before you asked me that, and then you asked me, and then now my brain hurts.
We were talking about how good barbecue chicken pineapple jalapeno pizza is.
Oh god, I died. My first death!
Uh-oh.
First death in Sekiro, boys.
No, 0 deaths.
There it is, 0 deaths. 100 million trillion deaths. Was I supposed to go there or was I supposed to go there? No, I can't go there.
No, you were doing it right. Because you got to go up to the prince.
I guess it feels extra weird doing this part again after having been so much further in the game. Oh, I was going to talk about how, like, the point I'm at in the game, I'm not sure how far I am in my main playthrough. I haven't beaten the game yet. So I'm coming at this with the context of being, I think, pretty far in the game, but not having beaten it.
Right.
I felt like I was pretty close to the end, but then I clicked a speedrun and I was kind of clicking through to see how some of the bosses were fought in the speedrun. And the boss I was at was only halfway through the speedrun. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm only halfway through the game, or if the speedrun just gets more difficult after that point.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm 75%, I don't know. For anyone, spoiler-free hint at where I am in the game, I'm at the top of the castle the second time, and you fight a guy, and I just beat that guy and had to stop playing. Because I don't have any fucking time to play video games, okay?
Come on,
I'm an adult.
Fucking infants.
Fucking, it was so annoying that, like, the game comes out, and, like, I didn't really have time to play it, and I'm steadily getting through it. And then, like, Shade's like, oh, I beat the game, like, the second day it was out because I fucking stayed up for 12 hours or whatever and, like, took the day off and played the shit out of the game and beat it in 2 days. And I'm like, what's the fun in that? You and all your friends beat it in, like, 2 days? Now it's over. Now you're gonna play it again, you're gonna get bored, and then you're gonna move on. And what was, like, this is an experience that's meant to be hyped for all this time, and you're so excited, oh, the new Dark Souls game, and then you're gonna be done with it in a week? What's the fun of that?
Press 1 if you're a real gamer and you beat Dark Souls in 25 minutes.
Did I skip the part where you fight the guy and die?
No.
Because at the beginning you're supposed to fight the samurai and you get killed.
That's later. You gotta talk to this guy, and he goes,
I'm a prince. With me. Okay, he gives me a healing
I'm
word.
the cool boy, I'm your master. What's going on, buddy?
People are all talking about the story of this game and stuff, and I'm just like, it's so weird to me that people give a shit about the story of the Dark Souls games, because to me it was always like, I guess it became such a big selling point for a lot of people when everyone did their deep dive story videos and, like, people started to give a shit, but, like,
videos.
But that was, like, deep into Dark Souls life that anyone even realized that there was an underlying story with all of that shit, right? Like, no one knew at first. Like, no one came to Dark Souls knowing that there was a good story. It's that the game was really fun, you know? Now people act like the story is a selling point on it. I'm like, but I didn't know about any of that shit until VaatiVidya started talking about it. I knew that there was something there, but, like, I didn't care, you know?
Yep. That's Victor.
I don't come to these
Victor,
games for
I don't
the
give
story.
a shit about story, Collins.
So this game, I'm just like, yeah, there's a lot of talking. I'm skipping through it. Fuck this shit. I don't care. And I'm having fun. It's been a great time. I have a loose idea of what's going on. It's not that complicated. I'm sure there's lots of backstory and lore that would be pretty cool. I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying the game.
You're just a Nihon man with a Nihon plan.
The frame rate is definitely eating ass right now. But,
cool.
You know, gotta give the laptop time to adjust.
Yeah.
I've probably destroyed my laptop already by playing games and editing videos on it.
I mean, you know.
It's only, like, 6 months old.
There's nothing wrong with eating
Got him. hopefully I'm gonna be decent at this game. Like, I wanted to beat it before we started Let's Playing it, just so that I knew I would be good enough to not be dying over and over again to basic-ass fucking scrubs. So hopefully we're not the worst.
Don't want no scrubs.
Yeah. It took a minute the first time through to realize that I could just fucking overwhelm enemies and beat their ass. This game's a lot, you know, it's different from Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and I think everyone knows and understands that.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember enough of my own opinions that were all completely wrong about the game before, because I was pretty disappointed at first, you know? I wasn't feeling it. It was taking me a while to get into the groove of how to play this game. And then, like, everything I talk about in our Let's Play video was kind of about stuff that all got remedied later, where, like, it kind of felt like a linear thing where I was going into the, like, it felt like we were just going into this castle and you couldn't really tell where the fuck you were going or had any context of, like, what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how in the other games there would always be, like, a thing in the distance and you're always working towards that thing, and it gave you this great sense of, like, going deeper into a dungeon, you know? And, like, all of that stuff is here in the game. I just wasn't far at all. Well, it's not that I wasn't paying attention, it's just that I was only a couple hours into the game, and I didn't have any time to play it, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like my disappointed first impressions on literally the very beginning of the game, having not gotten anywhere in it, and then all of those things completely 180 as soon as you get, like, past the introductory level, basically, you know?
Patience in Padawan.
Yeah, and I figured it was. I was saying in that, like, in our episode, I was like, well, maybe I'll probably completely 180 on this, and I'll be like, oh, the game's a masterpiece as soon as I get deeper into it, and I did, you know? I was completely wrong about, everything that was going on. The game does have a tremendous sense of that, like, going deeper and deeper into something as you, like, go on these branching paths, and you always feel like you kind of know where you're going, you know? Mm-hmm. Because it gets to these points where it's telling you, like, you'll learn about, which I actually did this, I took the wrong approach, once again. You know, I have my deep game design philosophy of the developers want you to take a specific approach, and that's generally the best way to play the game, and I fucked up because, like, Conrad had come over because they were starting to move down, and then he was talking about the game and how he had gotten stuck on this one boss, and he was like, oh, this boss is super, super hard, so you should probably go and do all this other shit, and then come back to him, you know, and he was like, oh, there's these paths that you missed, and you could go here, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'll go, you know, Conrad said that boss is super hard, so I won't fight him yet, I'll go dick around, and I'll get back to it. And then I go through these different paths, and then you get to the end of one, and it turns out that you can't progress until you've beaten that boss that Conrad was talking about that was super hard.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I probably should have beat that guy before I fucking went down here because I wasted my time because I can't progress, you know? And so I go back and I beat that guy who was not very hard at all. Conrad just really sucked at that fight. And then it, like, once you beat that guy, then the story shifts and then you get, like, it tells you about these things that you have to go find and you have to go down these paths. And I'm like, well, that would have been really cool to learn if I hadn't already gone down those paths because it let me, you know? It let me go down paths that I couldn't complete. And then when I, like, once I figured that out, I could go back and then I'm just immediately, I've beaten the path, you know? I just fight the boss and then I'm done. Because I had already done everything that there was to do except for fight the boss because it arbitrarily decided I couldn't do that because I hadn't activated the cutscene, you know? So when I went back through, it was kind of like, oh, well, I kind of ruined, like, the climax for myself, which is fighting the boss of the area.
Right.
And the boss was kind of underwhelming, so I was like, oh, well, I wish I had gone through the game in the path that made the most logical sense instead of, like, branching off like Conrad suggested I do. Just like Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I was talking about not being total ass at this game when we do the Let's Play, but here I am, being ass at the game and losing to this dude. All while sniffling like a son of a bitch.
I mean, as a green belt in karate, I feel as though I understand all of the combat features this game has to offer.
Yes. Because of your big legs and karate. How do you feel about this game? You've watched me play it a bit. What are you thinking? I know you don't think it's as cool as Bloodborne because of the art.
Yeah.
But I think there's cool shit in this game that you
cool
haven't
stuff.
seen. Like there's some really cool areas later on that you haven't seen yet that I think you would like a lot.
I'm just like not intrinsically that into like the feudal Japan aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like I find it to get really repetitive and boring. So this stuff doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
Despite loving Inuyasha, I'm not really into feudal Japan.
Yeah. It is kind of, it takes a while to like give a shit. But then it kind of gets away from that stuff a bit, It goes into cooler areas and you get some yokai stuff going on.
I love yokai.
It's like I love some yokai.
But I don't love like fucking Oda Nobunaga and all that stupid shit.
I'm hoping there's more, because at the point I'm at, like, it seemed like it was starting to get deep into the yokai shit, and then it kind of didn't go as far as I want, so I'm hoping that, like, now I'm kind of past what might be just the midpoint of the game, that maybe it'll ramp up in the yokai-ness.
Yeah, I think...
Why is this guy so fucking hard? This game sucks ass.
Ew.
It's just the first dude in the tutorial stretch, and he's beating my ass.
Sure is. I think my problem is that, I'm just not that interested in, stories like this that are driven by, like, a human narrative. I'm like, I don't give a shit. That's not interesting to me. That's just the history book you're reading to me in the form of a video game.
Like, it doesn't have the crazy, sort of out-there, esoteric plot of Bloodborne, where Bloodborne was, like, crazy Cthulhu lore, and, like, everything was super cryptic, and, like, you don't really know what's going on, and there's crazy monsters everywhere, and it had this interesting setting, and then this is like, well, I'm in some castle place in feudal Japan, and I don't really understand, like, the people here or what's going on. Like, eventually you learn all that kind of lore stuff through flavor text, but, like, it's not, I don't really care,
It's just not inherently as interesting to me.
Yeah, you're fighting normal guys who aren't, like, fucked up
I'm not interested,
werewolf demons.
I'm nowhere near as interested in games that involve fighting people, because, like, whatever. I could go see that in real life if I really wanted to.
Yeah, there's some, it gets spookier and creepier people going on and stuff, but it's certainly no Bloodborne, aesthetically.
Like, this guy's neat. I like how he's a little fucked up bridge troll.
Yeah, the little fucked up bridge trolls are neat. And you get,
like,
there's Tengu, and there's
gross.
crazy monkeys.
I mean, yeah, the monkey's cool. Not because I like monkeys, but because of what happens after you beat him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's, like, lots of monkeys, not just a big monkey.
The big monkey's cool, though.
Like, yeah, that's cool stuff.
I love that.
There's some really cool areas around there, like, art design-wise. But it is, like, feudal Japan is inherently uninteresting.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not interested in fucking Old West, and I'm not interested in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
It's just the least interesting things.
For me, it's like, yeah, the special weapons you get still aren't that interesting compared to what Dark Souls has had before. And, like, you still only have the katana the whole game, which isn't that interesting.
Katana.
I mean, it is what it is. The combat is good. It definitely gets fun. The bosses definitely get very challenging and neat and cool. And they have a certain expectation of perfection from you that I enjoy. Even though, like, the last boss I fought was really, really hard. And it kind of got to a point where it felt wrong because, like, I've been trying to engage with the game in the way that I feel it's meant to be played, which is really aggressively with the parries and, like, offensive attacks. And, like, that's the most satisfying, fun way to play the game. But I was fighting this boss where it really felt like the only way I could beat him was to jab and run away. And, like, I fought him over and over and over again, trying to perfectly parry all of his attacks and muscle through it. But, like, my stamina would always get destroyed, and I just couldn't parry all of his shit, and eventually I just had to hit and run like I would in Bloodborne or Dark Souls, Where you just run up, you hit, and you run away. And, like, it was still kind of a fun fight, but, like, I really wanted to engage with it in the Sekiro way that only this game can, that the other games can't, which is, like, really fucking going toe-to-toe with people and, like, parrying all their shit and, like, feeling like I'm executing the boss perfectly, which I did for a couple of the other bosses. I felt like, man, I really fucking nailed that. And it was more me attacking than me running away, which is the more fun way to play it. Ah! Because the game gives you the tools to where you feel like you can block or dodge or parry every attack without ever having to run, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's the most fun way to do it.
My
Running
arm.
away is not fun. And I felt like I was forced to run, and it was not cool. We'll get to that guy eventually. Yeah, you're beat by the samurai guy. La-di freaking da. Very cool. This game's about you're a samurai and there's a little boy and he's got magic blood and everyone wants his blood and he gave you the blood, so now you're immortal because of his blood.
The dragon rod.
Everybody's after that blood. But yeah, we're playing Sekiro.
You have the dragon rod, but he's
I got
the
my
dragon
shinobi prosthetics. There's some cool stuff where like all these NPCs, like, you find sake around the world, and then you give them the sake, and they will, like, tell you stuff about their past. Just kind of cool. They'll be like, oh, this monkey sake reminds me of this, and this person, and when this happened, and it kind of fleshes them out and feels like they do live in this world, you know? That stuff is cool. We won't encounter any of that, because we're not going to read the cutscenes while we do the Let's Play.
Reading is for nerds.
But it's some cool aspects, you know? You feel like you're getting attached to the people of this world a little bit. At least your guides. You got your this emo man over here who wants to fight you. He can't die, so he's like, "Oh, just fight me over and over again because I'm a dickhead." And then eventually you get a special sword and you're able to kill him, and then you kill him. And you go, "Yeah, you died."
Fucking noise.
But yeah, that's my impressions of this game, and we'll have more to say as we get through it. But when I first played, I did feel pretty lost and aimless, and now I kind of have a better context of like where we're going. Like when we come out here, like this is what was meant to feel like that moment of you know where you're going, because we're going to that castle over there. But like it seems it's so not like interesting looking,
yeah,
that you wouldn't really think like, oh, the game right now is about getting there. It just kind of felt like that was a set piece, and I underestimated the game in that regard, because I saw this and was kind of like, oh, this looks like a level or whatever. I didn't realize how far away that is and that we're going there, you know? Like, this is about going there right now.
It's a pretty nondescript Japanese castle,
yeah,
to be fair.
It's kind of nondescript. But it is special. That's where we're going. To go back on my previous comment. Anywho, I feel like I've rambled enough about Sekiro impressions. Does Hope have anything to say? How's it going? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you bored of Victor
out.
playing the game, hanging out? I'm trying to ramble about Sekiro as much as I can. Now that we went and we did our Vic and Hope tier list, I'm gonna be extra self-conscious about like, is this a good one? Is this gonna be top tier? I want Sekiro to be high tier. Oh no, people don't like the Let's Plays. We peaked a long time ago with me and Conrad, and
joke's
nobody
on
liked
you.
this.
I don't make any money from this.
Even though we saw other people's tier list, and they put the Splatoon one really high.
I was quite surprised.
Just surprising,
honestly.
multiple people. No, I was like, I
mean,
don't
I
remember
guess
that
I'm
one being that
flattered.
good. Yeah, or it's flattering. Certainly.
I'm glad. I'm assuming they put it high tier because they enjoyed what we talked about.
Yeah.
Because there's no way the gameplay was that interesting.
Exactly. Unless it was just because of me raging on a final boss, which sometimes people like. I don't understand the metric of like.
I mean,
people
I guess
enjoying certain things.
That was the final boss in which I described the Death Note movie, and you just lost your shit.
That was a really long boss
That
too.
was
It was like a
very
whole epic
long.
thing where it like took us multiple like
And
sessions.
then later on, someone told you could have just upgraded your weapons
Yes,
and made it so much
I forgot
easier.
it. I was doing a challenge run. Maybe that's why it was good. Okay.
Maybe.
Because I was doing a challenge run of Splatoon the whole time and I had no idea.
God mode.
This is a game where you have to explore if
Fuck
you want to
that
find
shit.
items.
We're at 25 minutes.
25 minutes?
You want
Alright,
to
I
take a
guess we're
break and
pretty
start a
close
new
to the end.
episode?
Maybe.
Maybe?
What else is there to say about Sekiro?
About
first starting
Sekiro?
off?
I mean, I ain't got shit to say about Sekiro.
Sekiro. I mostly just wish I had more time to play the game. Like, I've only gotten to play it once in probably the last 2 weeks, and it was just an entire day I spent beating that boss I was talking about.
Yeah.
Which I ended up beating him just by, like, deciding, oh, well, I guess, people told me I'm just supposed to pick and run at him, so I guess I'll just fucking pick and run at him, and then I beat him, and I was like, well, that wasn't, my favorite fucking way to do that. I really wanted to beat him my super aggressive, way of playing, and I wasn't able to do it. And I just felt like, well, I didn't really feel like I had a choice here in, how I approached this battle. This game is pretty, though. It looks nice.
Yeah.
It looks better than I first thought it did. At first I was like, these graphics aren't that good. But it's on an area-to-area basis.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah, with Devil May Cry just looks
so
insanely
that's not
fucking
truly
great.
a fair
Yeah.
comparison. Dougie!
It's really not going for the same graphical
Pet
style.
him.
Devil May Cry is all about the beautiful high contrast lighting and shit. This game's just about like having generally nice looking environments.
Yeah. So are you gonna fucking push you off the cliff? Bye!
I do think the environment design in this game gets a lot better, where at this point, it feels really like building I can jump on, grass patches I can hide in, and it's like really obvious spots, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like it's there for more of a game design sense and not like a world building sense where it's like, oh,
this
it's
is
the
not a
same
place
hooked
that would
tree.
actually exist.
Yeah, it feels a little too gamey in that regard. Where it's like, it feels like it's presenting itself as a real world.
A real place wouldn't look that uniform.
Yeah. And just the repeating textures of things.
I mean.
Where it's like every tree branch you can grab onto is the same branch throughout like basically the whole game.
It wouldn't be that consistent if it was a real world.
It's like, yeah, I guess I understand that as the limitations of a video game, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It rubs the wrong way. It's just something that wouldn't have been a problem in Bloodborne or Dark Souls. But then I guess in Bloodborne and Dark Souls you have like the same coffin littering the ground of everywhere in Bloodborne, you know?
That's true.
Same thing with Dark Souls. A lot of the same environmental design where it's like, oh, there's just barrels and barrels everywhere for no reason.
Depending on how much you personally favor something gives a, how much you're willing to forgive goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you really like the aesthetic of a thing, you're going to be more likely to forgive the same coffin lying on the ground 500 times.
Yeah. I never found a way to sneak up on this guy. Maybe I gotta go down that way.
Like, fucking skip him?
No, I
the first time you went back?
Well, yeah. Anything I skipped when we were first playing, I went back and got it. Because me and Hope played this game first together, which was probably not the best idea because it's not that immediately exciting. And it's not the best game for Hope to sit and watch me play when I'm just dying over and over and over again to shit. It's not like Resident Evil 2 where we're engaging with each other and having a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh god, here I am losing to the same guy over and over and over again. And this was the first guy where it was like, okay, I'm just kind of losing to this guy and I feel really bad because I'm not, you're just kind of sitting there on your phone while I try to beat this guy.
It's more of a solitary venture while you're ironing out the wrinkles.
Exactly. It can be quite exciting, when you get better at the game. It probably gets a little more fun to watch because it's like ball clenchingly intense moments. Conrad had a lot of fun watching me because he had more context into like Conrad was so bad at the game because all he does is hit and run that watching me play was like, whoa, you play totally different and you're so aggressive.
I do.
You're actually engaging with the parry mechanics. Wow. That made me feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like I fucking sucked at the game, but it's like, okay, it's because I've been taking a much more intense approach to this game than I think some other people were taking, and certainly Conrad, where he was like, I beat every boss just by spending 1,000,000 hours fighting it, and taking my time and running away and chipping away at things, and I'm like, that seems like the most boring way to play this game, when you can just, like, do what I just did to that guy, you know?
Got him!
You get up in his face, you parry his fucking attacks, and you beat his ass. It might take a little longer to get the hang of it, but you could do it. Yeah, I beat him on my first try. That's not bad.
Kicking his ass. Kick his ass, Seabass.
See, now I'm gonna get through all this shit really fast, and it's gonna feel like this is a great level, you know? We were playing it before, it took me forever to get through those 2 parts.
Yeah,
like, the first time we played, I stopped here,
time.
you know? It took a long time because I was sucking ass and not really getting how the game is played. And now we just blew through it. So it's gonna feel a lot better.
Yeah, that took less than 30 minutes as opposed to the probably like hour and a half.
Exactly.
That was initially.
Now I just hope that we're recording this game. And we are!
Hello.
Alright, next time on Sekiro.
Sekiro.
We're playing Sekiro.
Sekiro.